A year of sport is nearly over. Whose year was it?
It was the year of the British Empire and Commonwealth Games. It was Cardiff's year.
It was the year of Miracle Miles. It was Herb Elliott's year.
It was 12 months of achievement for Britain's girls. It was their year too.
It was Brazil's year.
It was motor racing's year. Mike Hawthorn's year.
It was the nameless champions' year. The year of those who helped to make sport so exciting.
It was the year of noise, a year of tension, a year of new champions and new faces.
Yes, this and much more was sports year. And tonight, as we look back over 12 months of sport, we'll know the answer to just whose year it was. Who's won the title of Sportsview Personality of the Year.
Good evening. Welcome to Sportsview's Gala Night, coming to you tonight direct from Grosvenor House in the West End of London. Now, in front of me here on the desk is the trophy that in about an hour's time will be presented to the sportsman or woman whom you at home have chosen BBC Sportsview Personality of the Year. And now, as we move into the banqueting room here at Grosvenor House, where nearly 200 of the leading sports personalities have assembled for dinner, we spot at once the man who is the reigning BBC Sportsview Personality of the Year, Rees. Now, he's at the top table, together with the other famous names in sport, Judy Grinham, Derek Ibbotson, Geoff Duke, Pat Smythe, Chris Brasher, Diana Wilkinson, there's Roger Bannister, names which in the past have won the accolade of National Sportsman or Sportswoman of the Year. So as we look around this great assembly tonight of the top personalities in sport, we begin to pick out those who must be very high in the running for tonight's awards. Now, I gave you, remember, the leading half dozen last week. There's the motor racing table, Mike Hawthorn, easy to pick out, even though he has retired, and he's sitting alongside another reigning world champion, John Surtees. There, too, is Tony Brooks, and the man behind the British van walls, you can probably pick out, Tony Vandervelde. But now let's go across to the ladies' table. Well, there's Christine Truman, the girl who helped to bring the Whiteman Cup back to Britain. Well, now close by is the swimmers' table. Young Brian Phelps, our European diving champion. Well, there's Margaret Edwards. Ian Black, European champion and world record holder from Scotland. Now what about the footballers? There they are. Billy Wright, Danny Blanchflower, Nat Lofthouse, Bobby Charlton. Certainly a table there worth many times its weight in gold in transfer fees. Well, the athletes aren't far away either. There they are. Brian Hewson, our European gold medalist. Mike Rawsome, another European champion. Well, in fact, there are so many names here tonight that I think I could probably go on for practically the entire program. But this evening, we want to recall the year that's made so many of those names a year of tremendous happenings in the world of sport. Whose year really is it? It's been a year of Empire Games and European Championships, a year of greatness for British girls and British motor racing, a year of triumph and tragedy. But as we look back over this year, we see it first as Australia's year.
The first day of the first test. Australia take the field at Brisbane, all out to win back the Ashes. Peter Richardson and Arthur Milton are the men who will face the first Australian attack, and Alan Davidson bowls the first ball of the match to Peter Richardson. Again, it's Davidson to Richardson, and the left-hander is off the mark with a single. Meckiff, the new boy, takes on Richardson, and it's the first boundary of the match. But Meckiff soon shows his value. He clean bowls Milton, out for only 5. "16 for 1. It's the start of England's sorry story. And even such a fine batsman as Tom Graveney can't get going. Australia strike again. Davidson bowls. Richardson has out-caught Mackay. "16 for 2, and England really are in trouble, but there's still Peter May to come. It's a moment of crisis for England's captain. But this time, even Peter May can't pull the game round for England. Harsh words of criticism are thrown at England's batsmen. It looks like Australia's match, and it is, thanks to cricket's newest star, Norman O'Neill. The boy they've called a second Bradman lives up to his title. He's hit the England bowlers before on this tour, and he repeats the dose when it matters. The young man from New South Wales knocks up a chanceless 71. Thanks to Norman O'Neill, Australia set the seal on a year that's truly been Australia's year.
Only in rugby do Australia come unstuck. In a sizzling game at Twickenham, England show why they're champions. It's 6-all with seconds to go.
Back to Butterfield. Robbins to Phillips. Phillips trying to outpace Lenihan. He's got it inside to Jackson. Jackson going across the field. Jackson going through the centre. Back into his forwards. The side out open up to Evans. Oh, these Englishmen are attacking now. There's Hastings up there, and Thomson tackled into touch on the 25-yard line. England playing beautiful football and striving so hard to win this game. To Butterfield, to Robbins, to Phillips, to Jackson. But Jackson going into 25. He's handed off one man. Jackson going. Jackson. Oh, Jackson. Jackson's got it.
It's a wonder try by Peter Jackson, and it brings England victory by 9 points to 6. And though they never show the same form again, England run out international champions for the second successive year. Rugby Union brings Australia's only defeat.
In golf, it's Australia's day, but it's not a runaway win. The Open ends in a tie. Australia's Peter Thomson is forced to a playoff by David Thomas. Thomas, the young Welshman who is Britain's brightest golfing hope, keeps the Open open throughout the first round. There are moments when the genial giant from Sudbury looks like winning the title. But experience settles the issue in the end. Thomson, cool and calculating as ever, makes sure that one playoff is enough. This must be a decisive win for him. And Peter Thomson it is by 4 strokes. Open champion for the 4th time.
As in golf, so in tennis, it's Australia's day. Wimbledon is dominated by Australians. But oh, how nearly the Australian favourite is toppled by, of all people, an English player. It's the 5th round, and Australia's Ashley Cooper, seeded number 1, is having a momentous struggle with Britain's Bobby Wilson. Two sets all, the 5th set, and Wilson to serve, 5-6 down.
Advantage, Cooper.
Match point once again. Ah, that's it.
And match to Cooper.
It's been Wimbledon's hardest fought match, and it's Cooper's passport to the final where he beats another Australian to become the champion.
As in tennis, so in swimming. Australia rules the swim pools. The Conrads kids, John and Ilse, lead Australia's assault on every world title. The Conrads are boosted as new national heroes, but they live up to all their publicity, and when they come to Cardiff for the Empire Games, they show just how great they are. First with the titles is Ilse Conrads, leading an Australia 1-2-3 in the 440 yards freestyle.
Ilse Conrad's first, Dawn Fraser second, Lorraine Craft third. It's an Australian monopoly of medals that's to be repeated time and again at Cardiff. And when Ilse Conrad, still only 14, isn't breaking records, then it's her brother's turn, John. He's a veteran. He's 16, and he swims like a fish. The only rival he has anything to fear from at Cardiff is Ian Black. Black makes him go, but Conrad's is still out on his own. It's this sort of swimming that brings John Conrad's 3 gold medals at Cardiff. It's this sort of swimming that makes him the greatest swimmer in the world.
But the greatest Australian of all is a little older. Herb Elliott is 20. He is to athletics what Bradman was to cricket. The Cardiff thousands are privileged to see Elliott run one of his miracle miles.
Elliott has really started now, it seems, his finishing burst at a fantastic 660 yards from home. And Herbert Elliott hit the bell in 3 minutes 2 seconds, making a 4-minute mile very possible indeed. And Elliott is now striding away 5 yards ahead of Merv Lincoln of Australia, with Gordon Perry in 3rd position, Thomas of Australia in 4th position, Hewson 5th, Beresford 6th, Halberg 7th, Blakegrove 8th, and Scott 9th. And absolutely fantastic running over this last lap by Herb Elliott, the youngest runner in the field, the Empire 880 yards champion, now 9 yards ahead.
Relentlessly, Elliott roars on. Nobody cares what goes on behind him. Everyone's eyes are fixed on this fantastic young man who makes a 4-minute mile look so easy. And it is a 4-minute mile, 3 minutes 59. It's an Empire Games double for Elliott, for he also won the half mile. And Australia supplies 2nd and 3rd as well to round off their domination of the track events at Cardiff. Herb Elliott's crowning moment as King of the Milers is still to come. 20,000 people at Dublin see him run the greatest mile. And this time, even Herb Elliott excels Herb Elliott. It's 3 minutes, 54.5 seconds. A new world record by nearly 3 whole seconds. And Elliott isn't even out of breath. In a year of great performances, Herb Elliott's remain the greatest.
Well, Herb Elliott, undoubtedly the outstanding sportsman of the year, couldn't be with us all the way from Australia, but did very kindly send a cable wishing tonight's occasion every success. But now let's meet our first personality this evening, and we've chosen a man whose sport was somewhat tucked away in that story, rugby's Cliff Morgan. For this was his last year in rugby football, and how very much he's missed. Now, Cliff, I'm sorry to interrupt your dinner, but what really made you to decide to retire at the height of your career?
I suppose the popular thing to say would be that it was my wife or something like that, because every paper today features something about some other sportsman who's going to get married, but honestly that's not true. I felt, that after 11 years in first-class football I'd had so much fun, and when you get to the peak of your condition you feel that you don't want to go over the edge, and I thought that, well, now is the time for me to retire, and plenty of young people coming along, and I think I did the right thing. I hope so anyway.
Well, now, what was your most memorable moment of the year?
Of last year? Well, I'm afraid it wasn't rugby at all, Peter. The most memorable moment probably of my sporting life was to be one of many people at Cardiff Arms Park during the Empire Games. It was a thrill which I don't think any Welshman will ever forget, and all the people who were there. And to stand there amongst the crowd and see all the fantastic records being broken, and all the wonderful running that we saw and swimming too, that to me, and especially the Queen's speech at the end, that was the highlight of my sporting year.
But now, will you, in your retirement, still be connected with the game too?
Oh dear, yes, I couldn't leave rugby, you know. It's a game, it's a fellowship of people. You can't possibly forget them, you can't possibly leave them. I write articles about the game, and I do a little bit for the BBC, and keep in touch with rugby in that way. I go to the schools regularly and on coaching courses, and I think that people like myself who've had so much out of the game can give so much back to young fellows if you can go around and teach them not only the fundamentals, but probably the finer points of the game, which you've learned because of experience.
Well, now, one quick final question. Whom would you name as your successor in the Welsh team?
Wouldn't I be a brave man if I said that? But, you see, against each country, you have to have a different type of outside half. Against England, he's got to be hard and tough. And I think probably Benny Jones for Pontypool will fill the bill against England. What happens then, who knows?
Well, Cliff, thank you, and I mustn't keep you from your dinner anymore.
Thank you, Peter,
Thank you
very
so
much.
much. Well, now our story of 1958 turns to the champions of the year. There are champions every year, great ones, good ones, and occasionally bad ones. But this, I think, has been a champion year for champions, especially in the racing world.
Epsom on Derby Day. And in the sunshine of a fine June day, everyone's here. The French challenge is stronger than ever. Horses trained in France are first and second favourites. But there's also the Queen's entry, Miner's Lamp. And though form doesn't support him, what a cheer there'd be if this were a royal derby.
Round Tattenham Corner, and the French favourite Nolo II is still there, nicely placed. But any one of the 20 runners can still scoop the £20,000 prize. At the exact spot where Derby winners usually come into picture, Charlie Smirk strikes on Hard Written, the horse with the white noseband. Smirk saw the opening, and now he's through. But in the next half-dozen strides, the Derby is won, but the winning post still more than a furlong away. For Hard Written, brilliantly ridden by Charlie Smirk, draws smoothly away to win the Derby by 5 lengths. And so Charlie Smirk equals Steve Donohue's record of 4 Derby wins.
But the horse of the year is not the Derby winner. It is Ballymos. In the mud of Longchamp, Ballymos storms home to prove itself the greatest horse in Europe, the biggest money spinner in the British Isles, and incidentally, winner of the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. A fabulous racing shot recalls the moment of triumph, the moment when Scobie Breesley sends Ballymos to the front, there to stay. That's how the Irish Wonder Horse boosts its winnings to £100,000. And even his disappointing run in the Laurel Park International doesn't stop Ballymos from being the horse of the year.
But Scobie Breesley gives way as Jockey of the Year. Doug Smith wins back the title. The man destined as successor to Sir Gordon Richards reigns again as champion jockey, not far short of 200 winners. For the 4th time in 5 years, the jockeys list is headed by a great little man, Doug Smith.
This is the champion's story, and what better champions had Britain than her European athletic champions? In 6 days at Stockholm, Britain wins 7 gold medals.
The first event, the 20-kilometre walk, brings gold medal number 1. Stan Vickers wins the first gold medal of the European Championships and sets Britain on the golden trail.
The 400 metres, a gold medal for Britain. It's a duel between two British runners for first place. John Wrighton against John Salisbury. But the lanky Wrighton, running in that peculiar sloping style of his, stays just ahead all round this lung-bursting lap. And John Wrighton, a Royal Navy doctor, prescribes just the right tonic for British athletics, a gold medal in the 400 metres.
The 800 metres and a gold medal for Britain. Man of the moment is Mike Rawsome. And despite that infamous barging incident, Rawsome recovers so well, he runs the race of his life. The finishing straight. Everyone's eyes are on the leaders. No one pays much attention to the figure all in white, but with an electrifying burst, he drives through them all. It's Rawsome. In the last 30 strides, he races past them, winner of the 800 metres.
But Rawsome doesn't get his medal straight away. He's disqualified, then reinstated, and the glory of his win is tarnished when finally he receives the golden honour that's his.
Still to come, the 1500 metres and another gold medal for Britain. No one gives Britain a chance in this most glamorous of races. A Swede, a Finn, a Pole, an Irishman. They're all tipped to win. The Swedish runner Van does all the pacemaking. And even on the last lap, it still looks like Van's race. Van's or Borisolo's. The pencil-like figure of Britain's Brian Hewson is still not in sight. The final bend. It still looks like Van's race. But into the picture now comes Ron Delaney. The Irishman is racing like a fire engine, but it's not fast enough. For right on the outside, with a fantastic last-second burst, comes Hewson. And in a tremendous finish, Hewson wins the 1500 metres. The race in which he didn't want to run makes Brian Hewson champion of Europe.
But it's a double champion, Arthur Rowe, who's Britain's Athlete of the Year. The Yorkshire blacksmith wins the shot put of Europe and the Empire, the only Briton to win a double gold. Rowe's putting ranks him with the best in the world.
But Britain has her champions of the world. In cycling,
Norman Shield, the 25-year-old from Liverpool, comes back to win the Pursuit Championship of the world.